All right, so a new era of filmmaking is officially here. We're talking about a world where you can create entire movies from scratch just by typing out a simple text prompt. It's kind of crazy, right? This tech could literally put blockbuster level power into the hands of, well, anyone. But as you can imagine, it's also kicking off one of the most intense debates Hollywood has seen in a long time.
And all of this really boils down to one massive question. Is this the end of Hollywood as we know it? Or is it the beginning of something completely new? I mean, the stakes really could not be higher. You know, the fact that we're seeing these AI-generated films that look, well, shockingly realistic, it sent a massive shockwave through the entire industry. And it's basically split everyone right down the middle. On one side, you've got creators who are like, I am not impressed. And on the other side, you have people calling this a full-blown revolution. Yeah, the creative world is officially divided. So let's actually dive into that divide, shall we? Because just like with any big disruptive new tech, two major camps have popped up, and they both have a completely different vision for what the future of storytelling is going to look like. Okay, first up, you have the skeptics. People like commentator Matt Walsh. When he looks at these AI-generated images, he basically sees a cool party trick, and that's about it. For him, the whole issue comes down to authenticity. He's arguing that a story cooked up by an algorithm can't ever have a soul, and if it doesn't have a soul, it's just empty. It's uninteresting no matter how realistic it might look on the screen.
But then, on the flip side, you've got the proponents. Take actor Zachary Levi, for example. His perspective is completely different. He says that if you're focusing on the little imperfections you see right now, you're missing the entire point. The real story, he argues, is the mind-blowing, exponential growth of the tech itself. It's all about the potential.
And this really gets to the heart of the disagreement, right? The skeptics, they see the AI as the artist, an algorithm just spitting out a soulless story. But the proponents, they see it as just a new tool. Think of it like a new kind of paintbrush, guided by a human artist. Something that can lower the barrier to entry and maybe unleash this huge wave of new creativity.
All right, let's dig a little deeper into that first viewpoint, the case against AI. It really all boils down to one central, kind of philosophical argument about what makes art, art. So the most crucial part of this whole soulless argument is this. It has nothing to do with how good the final image looks. It's all about where it comes from, its origin. The thinking is, since an algorithm doesn't have hopes or dreams or feel pain, how can it possibly fill a story with the very things that make us connect with it? For them, it's a fundamental barrier that just can't be crossed.
Okay, so now let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this. This perspective argues that the whole soulless critique completely misses the point of how creators are actually going to use these tools. It's not about replacing humanity, it's about empowering it.
And this is where we get that powerful counter-argument. Think about it. Just because an artist uses acrylic paint, that doesn't mean the paint created the masterpiece, right? No, it was the artist's vision, their soul, using that paint as a tool. Proponents are saying AI is exactly the same thing. It's just a new, incredibly powerful paintbrush in the hands of a human storyteller. And here's how that actually works in practice. A human is still providing that essential creative spark. They're writing the script, they're drawing the storyboards, they're guiding the vision. The AI isn't inventing the story out of thin air. It's just executing the technical stuff based on what the human tells it to do. See, the soul comes from the person who's wielding the tool. And all of this is building toward what supporters believe could be a true creative explosion. They think this technology is going to democratize filmmaking. Just imagine for a second, taking a $200 million blockbuster budget and slashing it down to maybe $50,000. That could completely shatter the studio gatekeeper system. It could empower independent creators, maybe even voices that were previously blacklisted, to bring literally any world they can imagine to life on screen.
But what about that argument that the tech just isn't there yet? That it all still looks a little bit weird or off? Well, to really get a handle on the potential here, you can't just look at where it is today. You have to look at the speed at which it's moving.
I mean, this timeline is just staggering. Just think back 3 years ago. AI video was basically a bizarre, nightmarish meme. We all remember that infamous Will Smith eating spaghetti video, right? Okay, now flash forward to today, and it's already getting close to the level of realistic found footage. So with that kind of exponential leap, what do you think it's going to look like 3 years from now? Are we talking indistinguishable from reality?
So this really brings us to the inescapable conclusion of this whole debate. This isn't theoretical anymore. The technology isn't on its way. It's here. It has arrived.
And that means the whole conversation has to shift. Burying our heads in the sand and just calling it slop, that's not a strategy. The tool is here. So now the really critical question becomes, how do we choose to use it? Because honestly, the most dangerous thing you could do right now is just stay on the sidelines and let other people shape this future without you.
You know, there's this great quote, which Zachary Levi brought up, that just perfectly captures the moment we're in. You can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. Ignoring this massive technological shift won't make it disappear. It just means you won't get a say in how it all plays out. And the consequences of that, well, they could be huge.
So where does that leave us? It leaves us with this final, really powerful question. That paintbrush we talked about, it's now in everyone's hands, not just a few powerful studios. And yeah, for every person who's going to use it to create something terrible, there are probably countless others just waiting for their chance to create something truly beautiful. So the only question left really is, what stories are we going to tell?